property, if Shah Rukh Khan was to come to your property, what special thing would you like to organize for him?
Sometimes these people want the simple things in life. I'd show him an amazing tea experience. It's got to be low-key because these people have seen it all.
Yeah. What are the challenges, in order to promote your brand?
My father, Malik Fernando, he created a brand of tea called Dilma, which is quite well known in India, in 2009, and said, we'd like you to be the first member in Sri Lanka. We're also the largest charitable foundation. We touch the lives of about 200,000 people every year. 8% of our travelers are from India. Britain is number 1, the US is number 2, Australia number 3, India is probably 3, 4. There are 5 bungalows in all in what is called Ceylon tea trails. It's our own collection called Reverie. We've got curators, whether you like to go blue whale watching or surfing, on a wildlife safari, tea experience. So we can actually curate what your day would look like.
What is luxury for you?
Oh my God, this is it.
Hi guys, my name is Sudhanshu Jaipuria from Luxury Cloud Podcast. As you know, we always try to get the best hotels which are there in the world and tell you the story and behind the scenes how they are created and why they are so popular across the globe. So today I have a very special guest from a very special hotel which is not very far from India. It's none other than Mr. Malik Fernando, who's from Resplendent Ceylon, which has 3 hotels in Sri Lanka. So yeah, they have a combination of hotel which promotes tea. It's one hotel is at the sea and one hotel has safari. So Mr. Malik, thank you so much for coming on the podcast with us.
Thank you, Sudhanshu. I'm delighted to be here.
So tell us about yourself. I mean, I believe your family you started your business with tea. So how was the transition happened from tea to hotel business?
So I call myself, Sudhanshu, an accidental hotelier because my father, Malik Fernando, was the most experienced living tea taster until he passed a couple of years ago. And he created a brand of tea called Dilma, which is quite well known in India, thanks to our sponsorship of the Sri Lankan cricket team. And we used to occasionally win matches against India, not all the time. And on our tea estates in the central highlands of Sri Lanka, which for me is the most special place. We've got amazing beaches, amazing palaces and temples and wildlife. But for me, the central highlands is the highlight, that's the quintessential Sri Lanka. And it's not particularly far from Colombo. So I saw these British-built 1850s, 1900s bungalows, which are not in great shape. So why not, a mad idea to restore them and to, bring tourism to this area, which really didn't see tourism much. And that was how Ceylon Tea Trails was born. And actually, it's 20 years since we started.
Wow, fantastic.
The first bungalow opened in 2005. And there are 5 bungalows in all in what is called Ceylon Tea Trails. And then we have, actually not 3, but 5 properties now in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
3 are Relais Chateau. The other 2 are not. It's our own collection called Reverie. So that's kind of my origin story, so to speak.
Fantastic. So since we're talking about Ceylon Tea Trails, tell us more about it. I mean, of course, you were from tea background, but why did you think that tourists would also love to come there?
See, the thing is, Sudhanshu, life slows down there. Particularly now after COVID, people are looking at getaway experiences. So when we started, it was a bit of an experiment, but when you're up there, you're taken back to 100 years. Everything is at an unhurried pace. The way the tea processing works, and you look out on the tea fields, your vistas, and life hasn't changed for 100 years. So I think for me, what a traveler wants is to just, when they go away on a holiday, they want to recharge, rejuvenate, and slow things down. You don't necessarily want a mad-paced holiday. Yeah. Some people do, but I think most people, particularly, our kind of clientele who are, hard-charging executives and, business leaders and their families, they just want to go and switch off. So for me, you're surrounded by fields of emerald green. The climate is cool. In the evening, you're sipping a whiskey in front of a log fire. When you go to bed at night in your vintage room, there's a hot water bottle there. So that, and then, you've got amazing Wi-Fi, but still the whole point is you put your devices aside and you talk and you connect over Relais Chateau cuisine. So that really is our, is really the masterpiece of the Resplendent collection. And Relais Chateau came to me in 2009 and said, we'd like you to be the first member in Sri Lanka. And then I fell in love with that concept. And you know Relais very well, and your clients do as well. And we've got 2 more Relais Chateau properties, which I'll tell you about in a moment.
Yeah, sure. In fact, that was my next question, that yours was the first Relais Chateau property in the entire Sri Lanka. So how was that journey? Was it difficult? What they came to you? Or just tell us about that, because I'm very excited to know about the story.
So Sudhanshu, they knocked on our door when we built T-Trails, because they were trying to expand in Asia, because it's largely a European-centric organization. But now there are some beautiful properties in Asia, and I jumped at the opportunity. But honestly, Relais Chateau is about family values. So we're a family business, and we are, integrity is at the center of everything we do. We're also the largest private charitable foundation in the country. We touch the lives of about 200,000 people every year, and in different shapes and forms. And then for me, those values aligned perfectly with what Relais Chateau does. And also, this was way before CSR and way before, the other brands might say, look, I do this, I do that. But doing things, positive impact as we call it, is at the core of what we do. So that is also aligns with Relais, because to be in Relais, you've got to be a family-owned and family-managed resort. And when you're family-managed, generally family values shine through, so that's really what resonated with me.
I think that's exactly, what my perception has always been about your properties, because the why people go there is because they don't want the typical commercial luxury hotel. They're looking at something offbeat, which has value system of the owners, and that is what they want to come and experience in a country like yours. I mean, I can completely understand why your hotel is so popular.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, people always, we are driven by purpose. So our purpose is 2 or 3-fold. One thing is to position Sri Lanka as it should be, because when I first came here, maybe 10, 15 years ago, a lot of the travel designers were like, Sri Lanka, luxury? What do you mean? We don't associate Sri Lanka with luxury. We look at it as a 3-star, 4-star. We'll do Colombo, Kandy, Negombo, Norelia. And all of these destinations are now very much in the 80s, 90s mode of tourism. Now, thanks to the opening of the road network and internal aviation, you can go to more far-flung locations like our properties and see the new Sri Lanka.
In fact, so now that talking about a transition, how India had a perception, tell us about a journey of the Indian clientele coming to your property, because we've also been in the industry, and we have also sort of noticed that there's a huge demand now going to Sri Lanka, especially for luxury. So what was your experience with the Indian market? How long did you take? What were the challenges, in order to promote your brand?
The initial challenge was the perception, because unfortunately or fortunately, our tourism promotion authority is pretty much, they're incapable of promoting the destination, being a state agency. So it means that it's up to companies like Resplendent to go out and fly the flag. That's bad, simply because more people, need to be aware of what an amazing location this is. It's also good in a way, because it keeps it pristine, it prevents over-tourism and overcrowding. So it's a bit of a balance. But my initial challenges were exactly that. Is there luxury in Sri Lanka? And then I must say, there were 3, 4, 5 travel designers who are now close friends in this part of the world, who sent a few clients who came down on a fam, and they were really our ambassadors at the beginning. And now we have a beautiful network of maybe 50 to 100 travel designers who we are the go-to. But the client also has to understand that yes, on our doorstep, it's no further away than South India in terms of travel time. Visa is pretty much automatic. Moment you arrive in Sri Lanka, you de-stress. It's a whole island mentality. It's largely a Buddhist country, so people are very chilled and relaxed, very kind of meditative, you might even say. So it means that on your doorstep, you've got luxury that's also excellent value for money.
Yeah.
Because the kind of Relais Chateau experiences we offer, experiences, cuisine, and the room hardware as well, if it was in Europe or in another Indian Ocean island, we could charge 2 to 3 times more. So although it's the most expensive in Sri Lanka, it's still amazing value.
Amazing value.
And about 8% of our travelers are from India.
Wow.
From a base of like 0, maybe 8 or 9 years ago. So it's in the top 4 or 5 origins. Britain is number 1, the US is number 2, Australia number 3, India is probably 3, 4, which is excellent. So it's really luxury,
of course,
conveniently on your doorstep.
Thank you so much for letting us know that India is growing, and I think there's a huge difference in the Indian traveler mentality, because now we don't see that travelers are going to see a destination, they're going to experience a hotel. And that is a big change, which is why we see numbers growing to especially properties like yours, which are family owned, boutique in nature, give something special which is unconventional.
And around the properties, you have so many amazing experiences, and we've got curators who will actually curate depending on what you like, depending on whether you like to go blue whale watching or surfing or on a wildlife safari, tea experience. So we can actually curate on arrival or ahead what your day would look like, and you can be as relaxed as you'd like, or you can be as active as you like. Great families and kids, because we've got a whole series of programs, including something which I'm really happy about called the Forest School, which is really pioneering in Sri Lanka, because it means that...
I've never heard this term before.
So Forest School is something which is included at Cape Weligama, and we'll roll it out at other properties as well, which is 3 to 4 hours a day of complimentary nature-based kids clubs where you're taught about astronomy, you're taught about biodiversity, why you need to do your own little thing in terms of saving the planet or helping, and regeneration, and activities relating to flora and fauna. So no electronic devices, and everything is in the outdoors, and that's quite unique. I don't think there's anything like it anywhere else.
I have not seen this, and I think I see my kids wherever we find such activity, not the exact one, they're really interested. And actually, because even schools are teaching them about global warming and many such topics, so when they come to a hotel like yours and experience this, it's a fun way of learning things.
It's the antithesis
and for
of your...
parents, if their kids are off the device, it couldn't be a better blessing.
Exactly.
I mean, all parents want their kids to be outdoors these days.
So, for example, blue whale spotting is one of the highlights around Cape Weligama, and we've got an experience related to that, where you go out on your own boat with a naturalist. And we explain to kids in the Forest School the value of whale poo. Pardon me for saying that on this program, but the value of that in terms of carbon sequestration. So, the critical importance of every element in the chain to save the planet, and that's something, wow, we had no idea. And parents learn as well from the kids in
Absolutely, absolutely, that's true. So tell me, you have these 5 properties. What property is right for what kind of client? For example, I mean, Cape Weligama, I believe, is great for families, couples, and kids. What about others? I mean, if you want to tell me about.
So the 3 anchor ones, the Relais Chateau ones, are what we call TC Safari. Typically, about 50 to 60% of our clients, the long haul, not necessarily from India, because you can come from India for 2-3 nights and stay at 1 or 2, but people who'd come from, say, the US or Australia or the UK would typically do 2 nights at Tea Trails, 2 nights at Wild Coast Tented Lodge, which is our safari lodge next to a national park, and then 3, 4, 5 nights at Cape Weligama. If you're coming from India, depending on your preference, you land in Colombo, which is 3 hours flight from here, and or obviously less from South India, and you would take a float plane if you'd like, 30 minutes to land on the lake directly in front of the bungalows at Tea Trails. So it's an amazing experience. 2 nights there, and you sort of de-stress and relax. Then if you'd like game viewing, you can go down to Wild Coast Tented Lodge, which is a beautiful series of cocoons, we call them, which won many design awards.
Wow. I saw them on YouTube. They look something very unique.
So it's
and you
basically,
certainly want to be in the room more than out in nature as well, because they're just designed so
it's almost like an airship that has landed in the middle of the jungle with a little plunge pool, and there you can see leopard, elephant, bear. Typically 2 to 3 nights there, and you're on a beach, so you've got like sand dune dining and sundowners. It's an amazing experience. That's actually our hottest property, you might say.
I think that's one of the most unique. Even Ceylon Tea Trails is unique. So they all are very different. So
Wild Coast has year-round demand, and because it's so visually striking, because the design, People see it on Instagram, and they come from all over the world.
Wow.
Tea Trails is more chill, laid back, you're going back 100 years, and it completely de-stresses you. Wild Coast, you're generally active. And Cape Weligama is your quintessential beach state.
Typical, yeah.
In the heart of what I call the Southern Riviera, which is between Galle and Weligama, and there you've got surfing, cinnamon plantations, blue whales, great bars and restaurants, and that is the most vibrant part of Sri Lanka. And Cape is in the middle of it.
Wow.
Then the other two properties which are also beautiful, Ahu Bay is a beach house style, which is 13 rooms. And we get quite a few Indian families, and sometimes we get a group of friends who do a complete buyout of Ahu because it's only got 13 rooms.
It's a perfect combination. I was just going to tell you that in India there's a sudden trend of taking your friends for celebrations or doing a small party. For that it's a perfect destination.
And it's closest of our properties to the beach. It's only about 20 meters away, and it's on a little secluded cove. And then Kayam House is a wellness property also on a beautiful beach with just 9 rooms, which is purely wellness.
Wow.
Focus on Ayurveda, our version, Sri Lankan version of Ayurveda, and there, with just the 9 rooms there, it's also perfect for a buyout. But that's where you'd go in for a 5, 7 day, 14 day, wellness break.
Wow, fantastic. So one more question, luxury term has been overused, if you may have noticed, in a couple of years. And luxury is something much more than just using a word randomly. What is luxury for you? I mean, how you define luxury for your guests at your properties? What is luxury for you?
So luxury, I think it started out going over the top with an amazing wine list or gold-plated taps, but all that is past because everyone's doing that. I think luxury for us is special, unique, rare experiences. Luxury is actually how we make you feel, right? So you might go to another Indian Ocean island and you might look to see a wine list which is as good as Dubai or London, but what's novel or what's interesting about that? So in our case, with our properties, with the unique terrain around it, it's about those experiences and how we kind of have travelers at some point saying, they sort of go, oh my God, this is it. It's a certain feeling they have saying, my gosh, I'm perfectly happy here. I'm in a state of bliss because I'm traveling, I'm doing good, I can see what the hotel does with the local community, our interactions with the local community. I mean, you have to have your hardware and your F&B offering at a top-notch standard, but there's more to it than that in luxury, whether it is the landscape, whether it is the community interaction, whether it's your introduction to Sri Lankan cuisine, and also the genuine authenticity, warmth of the people who are serving you, because Sri Lankans are utterly hospitable, and we are resilient even when we had an economic crisis and the conflict many years ago. We always smiled. It was an authentic smile. So I think luxury is about how we make the well-traveled, so-called luxury traveler, how we make you feel, as opposed to just ticking the basic boxes. Is the shower this, is the minibar this, is the bed this. You need that, but you need something on top of that.
While talking to you, I just realized that luxury for most people, and I think for me, would also be in a place where you feel secure and you feel stress-free completely. So when the overall experience of the hotel, where a hardware you talked about, or generally how the locals make you feel and you're stress-free and not thinking about work or anything, that also is a luxury that most people experience, which they're not able to articulate it. So thank you so much for teaching me something new, which happens internally, but I didn't know that.
I mean, for me, the final sort of luxury is someone saying, why haven't I come here before?
True, absolutely, I agree with that. So of course, we've been talking about luxury as well. There are other competitors. So what's the one thing that you're doing and they're not?
See, in Sri Lanka, there aren't many top-notch hotel brands or properties because we're still relatively new to tourism. I think our point of difference is the personal touch, the passion, and what our purpose is in terms of, commercial realities have to follow, but fundamentally, that constant tweaking, improving of the product to position Sri Lanka in the best possible light. And that's what drove my father with Dilma Tea, and my brother is following in his footsteps, and I'm driving it on the tourism side of the business, is kind of to put Sri Lanka up there as the most amazing location that you may not have been to, and why not? It's underrated.
Yeah.
So for me, that is the point of difference that drives us, as opposed to having a good property and just marketing it. For me, it's a passion behind it, and I think that you see that in the feedback from guests.
It's actually working, because wherever the name comes up, Resplendent, you automatically think of Sri Lankan brand, which is like the brand from Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's some other brand opened a hotel in Sri Lanka and then giving a Sri Lankan feel. So I completely understand, and I think you guys have done a fantastic job there, because that's what we think of on subconscious level.
I'm happy I achieved that.
No.
Coming from where I started 10 years ago, for you to tell me that is, it makes me proud. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
On a fun note, I don't know, a lot of celebrities do come to your property. If Shah Rukh Khan was to come to your property, what special thing would you like to organize for him?
He's coming on the 2nd.
Is he?
Actually, not to my property, but he's coming to open a new hotel complex in the city, which also has a casino in there, run by some friends. If he was, so we've had our share of, Bollywood royalty and people from all over the world. Sometimes these people want the simple things in life.
Yeah.
Because they go everywhere, they've seen everything, and people pulling out all of the stops. I'd show him an amazing tea experience. I'd show him an amazing Ceylon Arak experience. I'll show him around what we do through our programs that the MJ Foundation does. And, it's got to be low-key, because these people have seen it all.
Yeah.
And you don't want to bling them because they that's their day-to-day reality. They want something different.
So well put, I think, because that is not what would excite them. Something offbeat, local,
Exactly.
simple is what they would typically crave for most of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. On a closing note, if you were to describe Resplendent Ceylon in one word, what would it be?
Resplendent, the way I got that name is Sri Lanka means resplendent Lanka. So Resplendent Ceylon. So that's how the name came about. I think it's one word is difficult. I would say passion.
Passion.
Passion and mission. It's which is pretty much purpose.
Yeah.
That's what drives us. That's what, when I wake up in the morning, that's what, and my whole team, we want to get there. We want to put Sri Lanka very much on the map.
Fantastic.
So I would say purpose.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Malik, and coming all the way to India, giving us time to come and talk to our audience about your beautiful property. And I'm sure a lot of us are excited. I'm excited to be there. So, but thank you so much for giving us your time.
I love coming here, honestly. We're your little brother or sister across the ocean.
Yes.
So, and I feel very much at home here.
Perfect.
Thank you, Sudhanshu.
Thank you so much.
All the
Thank
best.
you.